You're listening to the Teach Better Talk podcast featuring expert educators eager to share progressive tactics to reach more students. Teach Better Talk is created by teachers and fueled by passion. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 178 of Teach Better Talk podcast. My name is Ray Hewart, and as always, I'm with my incredibly social friend, Jeff Gargis. How are you, Jeff?
I'm feeling incredibly social in this time of not being able to be social.
Well, I don't mean social like you're... Yes, you make friends with everyone.
I try to. I try to be friends with everyone. I do. I just try to be friends with everyone, so... my
you're decently likable.
It's always funny when we go to when we were allowed to go to weddings, when we go to a wedding and we'd go and there'd be like a sign seat in. My wife doesn't like that. I love it. Put us at a table with people we have no idea. So we sit down and everyone will sit down and Amy will look at me and she's like, "Oh, here it comes," and I'll be like, "So what's everybody do for a living? Let's talk and be friends." But my son's the same way.
My dream at a wedding would be sitting next to Amy, so I totally understand her wanting to
people watch. Just hang out and watch me make a fool of myself. But my son's the same way. My son's 8, but even ever since he was really able to talk, like we've always said, he's never met a stranger who's not a friend. And I'll never forget, he was 5, and he was with my mom at a park somewhere, and there's like a playground area, and he goes, "Grandma, can I go play with my friends?" And my mom's like, "Do you know those boys?" And he goes, "No, not yet." I'm like, "That's my boy," because he's just gonna go over and make friends with them. We were playing at a park here, and there was a bunch of older kids playing crazy ultimate tag all over the playground. And before you know it, here's these 13, 14-year-old, probably middle school, maybe high school kids running around, and he was 7 at the time. My 7-year-old kids running around with him. They ended up doing we got pictures with him and all this stuff. It was hilarious. He just that's just how he is, man. So I love it. That's how I am too. So,
well, you're very social. There you go.
Thanks. I appreciate that, Ray. You've given me a string of nice intros, which has been, I want to say nice, but I'm a little bit alarmed. I'm scared.
You should be worried.
I should. Yeah. I'm a little paranoid that something's coming and I don't know what it is, and I'm not okay with it. I haven't slept in weeks.
Really? I have a lot of work that I'm about to dump on you that you don't know about yet, that I'm just trying to butter you up. Fair because enough. When I start assigning you some tasks, you're going to be like, "Ray, why have all this work on my plate?" And I'll be like, "Sorry, buddy."
But don't you remember the last 4 episodes? I said nice things. Just do your work. I get it. It's what nice setup. That's good. Good stuff.
It's true.
So speaking of a lot of work to do, there's something that you've been putting a lot of work on. You do a lot of work all the time, but this is something that you've been putting a lot of additional work in. That's it's really coming together, and actually, it's out now, right? At the time of recording, at the time of this recording, it's still we're pushing it. It's about ready to come out. By the time you're listening to this, it's out. It's out there, so it's good to share. But that's our networking kickoff event that's coming up in July. So, can you share a little bit about what it is? I'm super excited about it. I know we've been working with Daniel Gupta on it, which is super cool. And I just love the whole concept behind it. So can you kind of share, you have way better insight in it than I do. That's just the honest truth.
No, honestly, I'd love to take all the credit for this, but this was all Dr. Neil Gupta coming to me and saying, "Hey, Ray, I see a problem and I want to fix it." And I'm thrilled that he came to our team to kind of be a part of this. So Neil and I were Voxing on Voxer, and he had said, "I really hate that people go to conferences sometimes alone and they don't know anyone. And sometimes that deters them from going to a conference." And I know myself, I've not gone to events because I couldn't get somebody to go with me. And he was like, "How do we fix that?" And so we were talking about the Teach Better conference. He's obviously a featured speaker. He's somebody who will be there October 2nd and 3rd. But he was like, "Why don't we get everyone together before the event and just socialize? So you know that everybody there has a friendly face when they walk in the door in October, that everyone feels like family," because that's the whole point of the Teach Better team, but also the Teach Better conference. Everyone's family. And so we essentially said yes, because you don't say no to Neil Gupta.
Nope.
And we decided this July 14th, it's a Tuesday evening, We're all going to come together for 2 hours and we're going to have a networking kickoff, and it's completely free. Even if you're still unsure if you'll be able to join the conference in October, we hope you'll just come. We're getting together all of our featured speakers from the Teach Better Conference 2020. And we're getting together all of our Teach Better Network speakers who are doing incredible things. And we are not only going to be facilitating some conversations, but also just be hanging out, talking shop. We encourage you to come in relaxed clothing, bring a beverage with you, and we're going to all hop on a Zoom call and make sure that you make some connections with the amazing people that are not only in education, not only doing great things, but also like a part of the family, because that's really something we truly believe in. We want nobody to feel like they're on Educator Island by choice. So you can actually register for this. Like I said, it's free. And when you register, you're actually going to select 2 sessions that you're going to be a part of. So we do have our speakers sharing on a specific topic, but they're only going to share for a short amount of time. And then it's going to be activities and facilitated discussions around that idea. So you'll choose 2 speakers with their topics that they'll be sharing on, and you'll be able to learn from them and be a part of some cool giveaways and just hang out. So I'm really excited. I'm actually really pleased with how kind of informal this is going to be. And I love any opportunity to get together with our Teach Better family. And I love that this is an opportunity that we all have on a Tuesday night to hang out.
I love it. And I want to touch on also, like, it's not just going to, I think, help. It's not just the idea of, like, some people might not go to a conference because they want to go, because they're going to have to go alone. But also, when you go to a conference, especially a conference like Teach Better, that we do so much with networking and getting together, that, if you go there and you don't know anyone, it's really easy to kind of feel like maybe you don't belong. Even, I mean, we work really hard to make sure that's not how you feel. But I can, like, if you're an introvert and you're kind of weird, even going out to the networking events, you might find yourself kind of in the corner, right? Kind of at your own table, because you're like, oh, I don't know anybody. I'm just going to be here. And we do our best to try and round everyone in stuff. But this is another way I think this breaks that too. Because now it's like, oh, wait, I do know people. I know them because we chat on the, and so I love it. It's so, I mean, not that we should be surprised that a brilliant idea came out of Dr. Neil Gupta's mind, but super pumped, really excited for it. So where do we go to register? I don't think we've said the actual place to go yet, did we?
No, so you can go to teachbetter.com/kickoff.
Okay.
And this will be our kickoff event for Teach Better Conference. And truly, like I said, we're all coming on a Zoom call. You're going to be a part of some great educational conversations. And we hope, we hope that you make a connection with somebody that you not only can follow on Twitter or Instagram, maybe have a, DM conversation, but just somebody that you can hang out with and consider family when you head over to the Teach Better Conference October 2nd and 3rd.
Love it. I'm excited about that. That's going to be a good time.
Can't wait.
A lot of fun. I'm really excited. I just love it. And getting to work with Neo is always a positive as well. So
can I give one shout out, Jeff?
Yeah.
This was an idea that came very spur of the moment, kind of like I shared in that story, but I emailed all the featured speakers, and I emailed all of our Speakers Network people. And these are big time educators. They have full-time jobs. They're super busy. Every single one of them came back and said, yes, 1,000%. How can we get involved? And I think that is, like, I'm getting a little choked up. I think that is so telling for the people in our family that we have best-selling authors, incredible people, that they get an email about a free event that just to hang out, and they say, yes, I want to be there. And I'm so thrilled. And I hope that you listening also choose, that quickly to be a part of this, because it really is. It's all about the family.
So teachbetter.com/kickoff to get in that 100% free. It's going to be a blast. So really excited about that. Let's talk about this episode really quick. So Tre Gammage is an educator, an entrepreneur, a podcaster, speaker, and an author. He really is. I was going to read off what he says he does, but I like the way he says it. So I saved the line for what he does, because I love what he told you, his answer to what he does, what his role is. But he's got a podcast, the Dash podcast, got 150 plus episodes there. Just released the book, Every Decision Counts, 8 lessons I wish they taught me in high school or in school. It's an SEL workbook for middle and high school students. And Tre works with schools and districts to help them implement and create social and emotional learning programs, and super passionate about that. I really enjoyed Tre. I got to chat with him a little bit last week. He and I just chatted on the phone. So I was super excited to bring him on the podcast, and really excited about the value that he brought here. Ray, anything you want us to focus on, pay attention to?
There's so much goodness. Go make sure you subscribe to his podcast because there's amazing things being shared there as well.
All right, let's get into episode 178 with Tre Gammage. All right, we are here. We are chatting with Tre Gammage. And Tre, it's awesome to chat with you. You and I got to connect. I mean, we were connected a while back. We got to connect and actually chat for a little bit last week, and it was really awesome to get to know you, which made me more excited to have you on the podcast and kind of dive into your story and your journey and what you got going on. So I'm excited about that. Before we get too far in, though, how you doing tonight, man? How you feeling?
Look, I'm doing good. It's been a good day. I've been energized and excited all day. I have a lot of good things I'm working on. We're living, we're happy. It's all good in my neighborhood. So I'm excited to talk to the Teach Better team. I love your podcast and your banter and the joy that you guys have on your shows.
Oh, Tre, I'm so glad you're here. I've actually been newly connected to you and been following the work that you're doing, and I'm so excited to learn more about it on this podcast. So truly, I've been looking forward to this recording, so I'm thrilled that you made the time. Our first question is easy, but it never seems to actually be easy for people. And we just kind of ask you to tell us a little about yourself, kind of what are you doing in education? What's day to day? What do you do?
For sure. So you're right. It is a loaded question. And I do try to be good with words for the most part and be concise. And the simplest way to put it is I believe in facilitating purpose. And facilitate means to make it easier. Purpose is your reason for doing. So in everything that I do and by the way I live my life, I want to make it easier for you to do what you love. So putting it like that is very simple. But I work with schools. So I'm an education consultant. I've been in education for 5 years. My first 2 were at a residential high school where I was living with 45 11th and 12th grade students and living with or taking care of 280 total at a prestigious school here in South Carolina. And when I left, I became an emotional coach for teachers. Shortly after that consulting role, my role expanded into a guidance consultant, if you will, building a guidance program and all the components that go along with it, college and career preparation, social and emotional learning, discipline and things like that. So I'm kind of narrowing down my niche now and really falling in love with social and emotional learning. And that's where my first book has come into play, Every Decision Counts. 8 lessons I wish they taught me in school. It's an SEL workbook for middle and high school students. And of course, now I'm trying to pivot like the rest of the world and adapt to what we have now as a new world order, I guess.
I love it. I'm excited. Let's get right into the book. So talk to us about what the book is about. Sort of, if you can give us a little backstory, like where did it come from? How did you come up with it? And then it's a workbook for students. So maybe you can share a little bit of like what the work is that is encompassed in the book and what they kind of work through.
Absolutely. So back in like 2016, I was public speaking. I was speaking all around South Carolina and ended up speaking at Toastmasters World Championship in 2016. What I thought was going to happen is that I was going to win and travel the world as a speaker and my life would be set. But when I lost, it kind of got me a little reality check. And so I started thinking about ways to really add value to people and to serve people. And with Every Decision Counts, I knew I wanted to write a book. I had tried a few times and finally was just sitting down and was like, hey, who do I have a message for? And I think I've been blessed with a gift to really be able to communicate with the youth and our next generation and be able to translate the principles and experience and all the lessons that life teaches us that I wish would have been put in school into a 55-page workbook here. So it's got different lessons from real life stories, and each of the chapters is actually based on a podcast episode from the Dash podcast that I've been running for 3 years now. And so I took those lessons or those principles and I translated them into letters to middle school students, my brothers, to people that I've worked with over time, and put it in a way that was very easy to understand, was very applicable, but also at the same time it was real and relevant.
I love it. So let's continue. Sort of, you touched on the championship loss and stuff, but I know you share a few other stories about decisions made, and you talk about how every decision counts and what it's in your life. So
Absolutely.
I'm hoping you can pull a story from there. And we always share stories on this podcast about failure and how we overcome it,
Oh, yeah.
challenges, and stuff. So can you share a story with us about a time you've had a failure or just a challenge in your life, something you had to overcome? Share what happened, how did you overcome that, and then what did you take away from that experience?
So, and I'm glad you asked. So the first chapter is actually called Failing Got Me Started. And it talks about how failing is your first attempt in learning and how it's actually your cycle or your catalyst to success. So there's a fun story that is actually in the book, and I'm going to take it back to high school here. I've always loved football. I grew up loving football. It was a big passion of mine. And while I was playing, I was coming up in my sophomore year, I was decent. My junior year, I actually got to start on the football team and I earned an all-conference award. But at the end of the year, and I received that all-conference award, I said, hey, Dad, I got this reward, but I don't quite know if I deserved it. And he was like, well, Trey, I thought you sucked. All I remember is you running up to a tackle and sliding right past him. And, some folks might think that's mean or bad parenting and he gets mad at me or jokes with me for telling that story sometimes. But after he told me that, I realized that I could do more, that I could be more, that I hadn't yet reached my potential. And so I started working out twice a day, every day. I was eating 6 meals a day. I'd wake up and eat breakfast, take 2 sandwiches to lunch, eat one for second period, get a free lunch, find a girl who had free lunch, eat hers too. I need a second lunch, go work out, practice and so forth. And in the next 6 months, I gained about 30 pounds from 170 pounds to 205, and then ultimately ended up earning a scholarship to play football at Miami, Ohio, around you guys' neck of the woods, and working from there. So life is full of constant failures and successes, but that's one from high school that's also in the book and one that I really enjoy. And I think my students that I've worked with have also enjoyed hearing that story as well.
No, I love that. Shout out to Miami. A little Ohio love there.
Yeah.
So let's flip that around now. Let's talk about a successful moment you have. And this can be something big or something small, but tell us what happened. Why was it a success for you? And then what'd you take away from that?
For sure. So I think, another situation that I kind of alluded to and it's in the book as well, or at least part of it, this Toastmasters World Championship of Speaking. I mean, it was amazing. My last semester of college at Miami, I decided not to play a 5th year and decided instead to go study abroad at our sister school in Luxembourg. So every weekend I got to travel to a different country, 14 countries in 16 weeks. And while I was there, I found out about Toastmasters and how every year they hosted the World Championship of Public Speaking, and they would crown this one person a world champion. And that just meant so much to me. And I knew I wanted to serve people. I knew I wanted to speak. And when I came back, when I got off the plane, one of the first things I did was sign up for Toastmasters. And I made it very clear to everybody that my goal was to become the world champion. And it was a blessing because everybody really supported me. Everybody really backed me up from the entire state of South Carolina. They supported me. They put their effort behind me. I gave over 100 speeches across the state and in multiple states preparing and everything. And then for this competition, so the World Championship is a 6-month competition that is 6 rounds long. It starts with 30,000 contestants in 140 different countries. And it ends with the top 100 at the semifinals and the top 10 for the world champion speech. So the first 4 levels are like local in your city, then your area, and then your region and your state. So in South Carolina, it was the whole state. So I won the international speaking competition for the state. And that allowed me to go to Washington, D.C. in 2016 and was able to compete against the world champion of Mexico, the champion of Turkey, the champion of Japan, Louisiana, California, San Francisco, so many different places. Ohio, there was a woman from Cleveland actually that I competed against as well. So that experience, I learned that life is all about me and it's not about me because I practiced and prepared so hard for that world stage. And I feel like I gave my best speech ever. At the same time, I realized that it still wasn't all I could be, and that if all I was doing was trying to serve myself and win this world championship, that wasn't enough. It had to be more about me as well, and I had to add more value to the people that I'm serving than I receive in return in payment or reward or satisfaction. So I consider it a success, even though I lost, because 1, making it to that stage, but 2, the lesson that life taught me from going through that situation really helped me out a lot and how I want to serve people now.
I really resonate with that story. I love hearing about all these different elements that you've been able to not only have experiences in, but also provide some education in when you're working with educators, sharing your story, and also coaching them through how they can better connect with their students. I have to know, though, with everything you're doing in education, what's really fueling your fire? What really keeps you excited about what's going on in education these days?
That's actually a great question. I love that question, and it's one that really got me into education to begin with. Because I believe that pain is your platform for purpose. And for me, I was a kid who we moved 11 times growing up. I went to 7 different schools by the time I went to college, and it was just a lot, but it was through those opportunities and through those obstacles that I became who I am now. So to see kids, they're my heart. I say I ran for city council here in Hartsville, where I live at, and my platform was community, youth, and opportunity. And those 3 things right there mean so much to me. Community is important. I believe in creating creating producers instead of consumers, using the talents, the tools, the resources that already exist. Youth are important to me because they're the next generation. They're innocent. They give me life. I love so much being around them. Even at church, when they start praying for the kids, a lot of times I bow my head and get my prayer as well because I still feel like a child. And then opportunity. I believe that, we have to create opportunities for people to grow, lead, and experience. And a lot of people don't get to choose what they're born into. So for me, to be a young Black man able to serve young Black people and be an example of a young council member, of a young person that's been studying abroad or got a scholarship and is working in education, I think it's important for our industry. And I'm excited about the work that we're doing in education as a whole, building the whole child. I think we're finally starting to understand that social emotional learning is important, that emotional intelligence matters, and communication is really currency.
Oh, I love that. Communication and currency. That's powerful. So when it comes to advice, I mean, geez, I've seen you on social media. You're constantly sharing tips and tricks for educators to do better with students. And whether we're talking about a new teacher in the classroom or even a veteran teacher, what piece of advice do you really hope for educators to kind of take away that can help them be their best self?
I think it's that, and that's a good question in itself. So I'm actually in the middle of launching a new coaching program now called Getting Unstuck, 4 Steps to Your Best You. And so, again, I just mentioned that communication is key, and I believe that relationships rule the world. So everything that we do in life, you're communicating 100% of the time. You and I, we can't see each other physically. We're not face to face. We're not using the camera, but we're still communicating. And so you do that with your words, you do that with your body, and you do it with yourself mentally. The way that you talk to yourself. A lot of times I like to ask the question, if someone talked to you the way that you talk to yourself, would you still be friends? And so that's my thing. I want you to understand that you're communicating 100% of the time, and that, your relationships that you build with your students, that rapport is going to pay off multiple fold once you're done. So I think that everybody should have a behavior and relationship priming plan to start their school year or every quarter after every break. A big emphasis on restorative practices, SEL and character development. So really waking folks up to yourself. I don't really believe in that you need a bunch of extra assets or resources. I think that you're already equipped. And most schools are already equipped with the talents, the tools, and the resources that they have to really thrive.
I love that. Know yourself. And I love that your viewpoint of the fact that like schools already have the tools, because we're all prepared for that, and just got to know yourself in order to go there and understand others and push that out. So love that a lot. So let's, before we jump into our 6 questions, let's do a book giveaway. We've done like book giveaways the last several episodes, right? I'm loving this. Tre's hooking us up again to do it now. So
let's do it.
Let's do it. Trey, you said 3 copies. We're going to do 3 copies of Every Decision Counts.
Oh, yeah.
Simple to get it, Ray. It's really, I'm making it easy for Ray because I used to do these and they got super complicated, but we're going to make it simple. Share out on whatever your favorite social media platform is. Make sure you hashtag Teach Better, hashtag Teach Better Team, and then hashtag EDC for Every Decision Counts. Tag us, of course. Tag Tre Gammage on there as well. And just tell us, why do you want the book? Why do you think you should get it? We're going to find it. We're going to pay attention to it. We're going to enjoy reading them all. And then we're going to pick 3. Tre's going to send you a book. It's that simple. Cool?
Oh, yeah.
Good. If you want, Ray would tell you, push pause really quick, go do it, and then come back. We'll wait.
We will wait.
Good. Now that you're all right, now that you're back, we're gonna get into. Hopefully, they came back. We're gonna get into these 6 questions. Tre, your goal here is to answer each of the next 6 questions in 15 seconds or less. You ready to go?
I hope so.
All right, here we go. What is one edtech tool you cannot live without?
Castle.org. Castle is a school-wide guide to SEL implementation.
Give us a book that you're reading right now.
I am reading Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman.
Give us up to 3 people that we should follow on Twitter or Instagram today.
Ooh, you should follow David Adams, who, yes, he is with Castle and the Urban Assembly. You should follow BME's Talk. That's Black Male Educators Talk. And you should follow Mark Brackett. He started the ruler model implementation. He's over Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. Yeah, those 3. And I'm gonna add a 4th, Maurice J. Elias. He's over social and emotional character development at Rutgers. They do some really, really good work.
Awesome. Give us a good YouTube channel or website for educators.
Ooh, a website for educators. I go back to castle.org, CASEL. That's the Collaborative Academic for Social and Emotional Learning. And what was the other one? A website and a what?
Just a website it was a website or a YouTube channel. Okay. But if you got a second one for us, we'll take a second one, man.
The YouTube channel, I think Eddie B Comedy. I'll go with one funny there. He's always a good jokester.
Good stuff. I'm glad we went with the second one. That's good too. All right, give us a daily, weekly, or monthly routine every teacher should get into.
5 minutes of meditation in the morning. Before you show up to the classroom, you have to make sure that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. So it starts before you show up.
And give us the best piece of advice you've ever received.
Every decision counts. You know.
Boom. There it is.
It's true, man. Do you think that's trophy worthy, Jeff?
I think we can send the trophy. I think
we're sending a trophy.
Let's send it.
I get a trophy.
You get Teach Better Talk trophy. You killed it. That was awesome. The question 6 is always extremely stressful, and you hit it out of the park. It was awesome.
Thank you. That's impressive. I'm excited to get a trophy.
Tre, just remember this: that Ray's the one responsible for sending the trophy. So if it doesn't show up, it's Ray's fault.
I think I've got an unread email from Ray now, so I'll make sure I respond to her.
There you go. Actually, what you did get now is I have been tweeting quotes from this episode because I have loved so much of what you shared, and I want to make sure our listeners also can stay connected because I'm confident they are connecting with the information that you're sharing. Would you mind kind of telling us where they can stay connected, whether it be on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or anywhere in between?
Yeah, absolutely. On Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, I'm just at Tre Gammage, TreGammage. That's like damage with a G. And then my website, tregammage.com. Just did some cool updates there. So you'll see my podcast. We've got 150 episodes of the Dash podcast. And every week we feature educators who are solving problems for school communities. And then you'll also on the shop page, you'll find Every Decision Counts in my new 4-week coaching program, Getting Unstuck, 4 Steps to Your Best You. There's a paid program. There's also a free program up there. And I'm always looking to update and add some additional content.
I love it. You can find all the links and the resources that we talked about in this episode over at teachbetter.com, as well as those really important links for connecting with Tre, checking out the programs he's got, getting your hands on that book. Everything's over at teachbetter.com in the show notes, so head over there for all of that. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. And if you can give us a rating and review, we'd really appreciate that as well. And let's keep taking this one step further. Think of just 3 of your colleagues who need to hear these amazing stories and connect with these amazing educators and share this podcast with them. Tre, man, so glad you got to come on the show. Was super pumped to have you on. Did not disappoint. Excited for for 3 people to get their hands on a book and for others to go check it out and connect with you and keep the story going. Really appreciate you taking some time and hanging out with us, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. I appreciate you guys having me, Ray and Jeff, and can't wait to continue to learn how to teach better and help folks do the same.
I'm loving it. Until next time, let's get out there. Let's teach better.